folks.
Hey, what's going on, man?
All right, it's good to see y'all. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Man, all things considered, it's making it through. I really want to appreciate. I thought I was gonna be able to get through that, but I appreciate y'all delaying that because I probably needed that time. So I appreciate that. I just was trying to stay busy because you get idle and you start thinking about it, and it just kind of spiral
Yeah.
down here from there. But
Yeah.
definitely
Sometimes
appreciate.
other voices kind of give you some perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely for sure. Um, but how y'all been, LaDonna? What's going on?
Nothing merch.
How's
Nothing
business?
merch. It's pretty well right now. Business is slow. This is a slow season, so it
This
picks
is
back up by spring.
okay.
Yeah,
All right, cool,
yeah.
cool, cool. All right. Well, I want to again appreciate y'all giving me y'all time. For my podcast. Let me put my glasses on. I'm over 40. Can't see right now.
Can't see nothing but your red hat, so you're good.
Yeah, she doesn't have her glasses on, so
Okay.
Yeah, I see nothing but red hat and purple,
A
purple,
purple
red
light.
purple.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, welcome to Black Marriage Chronicles, where our goal here is to reunite and ignite existing marriages through the shared experiences of couples like yourself, and to also give those who are looking to get married a realistic view, an in-depth view of marriage through your shared experiences, and just to give people an idea of the beauty of marriage and its complexities. So, welcome to Black Marriage Chronicles. Now it usually takes anywhere from maybe an hour or whatever, and depends on how the conversation go. I don't want to definitely want to be mindful of your time, so we don't want to take too much of it. But at least an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. Uh, and you guys just kind of tell me a little bit about your marriage, how long you've been married, how did you meet, and let's just go. Oh, so before we get started, so we do play games that are inspired by Black game artists. So I'll show you a couple of games, and you guys decide before we kind of get into the Q&A. Let me know which game you want to play because we kind of break it up so it's not all serious. We've had to play some games, and I like to promote other Black businesses on here. So this game is called Out of Bounds, and
Okay.
basically how this game is played. There's a word in the middle that, so I have to give clues, but there's a word in the middle that you can't say, and then I have to get the so I'll give you an example how it works. Should have had this all taken care of before we got on here. All right, so let's just say, for example, this was one of the words. One of the words, the word in the middle is hoopty.
okay.
So the words on the outside say like I can't say car, broken, lemon, cheap, but the key word in the middle is hoopty. So I have to give you clues, and you kind of guess it from there. So that's one
Okay.
game.
That one might
Uh,
work.
and then we have urban trivia.
Mm.
This was real. This was really popular. And then we have naughty nice,
Oh.
and it's just what it says, naughty nice. And then we have tonight. Let's talk. So you kind of let me know which game you want to go with, and then we'll go from there.
What's that urban trivia?
Urban trivia, I like that one. So it's basically here, I'll give you an example of what we do here with this one. All right, so here's the question. On the show Proud Family, what did Penny's mom do for a living?
Oh my God, I
Okay.
haven't seen that show in so long.
Well, that's just one of the
Sure.
questions. That's just kind of
Yeah,
an example of what
It,
urban trivia.
it's a cartoon of black family cartoon.
oh.
Y'all want to
Okay.
go with urban trivia?
Either that one or that Out of Bounds might be kind of cool too.
Out of bounds. Okay. All right. Well, let's we'll see
We'll do
how it
Out of
goes.
Bounds.
Out of
You don't
bounds.
have any
Okay.
music. You don't have any music trivia.
Uh, you know what, LaDonna, I do. Where's my game, man? That's the one I was looking for. I don't see. Oh, here it is. I forgot that one. This one y'all probably like. It's called hashtag. It's called give me a second. I forgot about this one. It's called culture tags. So there's a couple different categories in here. Miss Music Buff.
Everybody knows.
All right. And so here's the categories. You have family and friends, songs and lyrics, words to live by, Black Twitter, TV and film, church, and yeah, those are the categories.
Okay. I like that one better.
All right, that's the one.
All right, so we're gonna go with culture tag. So which we're gonna go with songs and lyrics.
Yep.
So what'll happen is I'm gonna put it up to the screen like this, and then you guys have to kind of guess what the hashtag is.
Oh, we can't even see it.
What
No?
does that say?
No, what does it say?
It just blurred up.
So the hashtag is IWRWYAN.
No, we might not have to go. We might not do that. I
No?
can't see it.
Let's see. Can I? Oh, hold on, man. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, where's better?
All right. I.
Oh, there it is. So
No.
that's
All
just an
right.
example.
Tell me what it
So,
is.
so it is I want to rock with you all night.
Oh, Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Y'all
Okay.
want to
Oh,
go
okay.
y'all want to go with this one?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you'll have to read. You have to.
Are all of them
Read it.
like that?
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah, every category is like that.
Is letters like that?
Uh-huh. That's why it's called culture. It's called hash culture tags.
So it's basically what, like the first initial to each word?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. So tell me a little bit about your marriage. How long you been married? How did you guys meet? Family dynamic.
So marriage wise, you don't have enough time for us, man. You need about 5 hours because we actually met in 1993.
Okay.
We've been married for, well, we going into year 16 now.
All
Yep.
right. Congratulations, black
Yeah,
folks.
thank you. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going into year 16, but we've really known each other since 1993.
Okay.
And we met we
Uh-oh.
we we met at work.
Let me
Uh
LaDonna. Is he telling the story correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
we met at work, man. So here's the story.
Does not like to say.
She pushed up on you?
No.
No.
No. It was him.
Okay.
So what he doesn't like to say, he was my boss. So you already know.
Okay.
Yeah, work and
Okay,
then
gotcha.
working for his family, it was like a big issue, like he'd always
Oh,
say, oh, my family will be upset because, fraternization and
right.
and possible lawsuits. Like as if I'm like, hell you think excuse me, who you
It's
think
a,
you
it's
are
not.
that I
First, let me just say this. This is not a you guys. If you drop a couple cuss bombs, don't worry about it. The kids won't be looking at this. This is all adults. So go ahead, do what you
okay,
need to do.
so yeah, so he thought that, it would be one of those situations and I'm like, don't flatter yourself, dude. I'm not gonna
But there's background to that, Tony. So I'll give you a brief my perspective and then she can give you hers.
Okay.
So um and once again, I appreciate your support because you are a customer of my family's business.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so I appreciate that.
By the way,
Um,
go ahead and give your plug real quick because I don't know how you do it at the
okay,
end
the
anyway. Yep. Go
the
ahead.
business is Heritage Optical, and as you know, Antonio, we do eye exams and glasses, and we've been around since 1975. The business was started by my dad, and we're just trying to continue to keep it going. But here's the thing: um, I I have moved away. I did a lot of other things before I decided to come back to Detroit and join the family business. So
Okay.
I was just returning in 1993 from living in New Jersey.
Oh.
And I was a territory sales rep for an implant company. And I ultimately moved back to Detroit and came back to the business. So when I came back in 93, that was the same time when LaDonna was interviewing for a position at the company.
Oh.
So
Okay.
we literally came in to
At the
the
same
company
time.
like right at the same time.
Wow. Okay.
So I saw her the day she interviewed, and of course she caught my eye.
Yeah.
But when you grow up in a family business, one thing your father will bang into your head is do not dip the pen in the company ink. That was his big thing.
He
And my
drilled that
mother,
into you.
yeah, my mother at the time was very involved in like the HR, the hiring, and payroll, everything. And so she came from a background with the state of Michigan at um, what was called job service, which evolved into MESC. So she was a
Okay.
supervisor, and she was responsible for other people who interviewed people for jobs.
Right.
So she was like very stringent about policies and you can do this, you can do that, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Her whole thing with our family business was don't ever put us in a position of exposure, you
Okay.
know, lawsuits, anything
Yeah.
crazy. So of
Right. Right.
course, you know, they're looking at me because I was always kind of the wild child. I have two other siblings, a younger sister and younger brother, but I
Okay.
was the rebel. So I was, you know, you tell me to go left, I'm going right. You tell me to go up, I'm going down. So that's why I left the family business because I wanted to do other things. So
Yeah.
anyway, long story short, came back, saw her, and was like, wow, but you know, kept it cool. Where we really started kind of connecting was I started managing one of the stores where she was at. And the more I was around her, you know, we had a bond and she had a little way about her too. You know, she would drop little things and say little things. But the thing that really caught me about her, because mind you, I've been away from Detroit for many years.
Okay.
So coming back to Detroit, you know, I hadn't really been doing, you know, too much dating or anything
Hmm.
like that. So the one thing, and she's, you know, younger than me. So that was the other part. I said, I gotta play it cool because she was young, man. You know,
Yeah.
I was young, but she was younger.
Okay.
And
Antonio,
Yes.
see, here we go.
I was 21,
She was 21.
okay? And
Okay.
you were what?
I think I was what, 29?
28, 29.
28, 29.
Okay. So about an 8 year difference between the
Yeah.
two of you.
Yeah, but
Okay.
see, here's the thing. For my when a 21-year-old female, like she looked young, like she had a baby face.
Okay.
Uh, not a baby body, but a baby face. So, but my whole thing was I have to be careful. But the more we were around each other, and like I said, you know, she's saying it was me, but she certainly dropped some hints.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
so
Lenny, they mature so much faster than we do. So even though
oh,
she
no
was
question.
21, she
And
probably was right
Antonio,
there with you
that's what
mentally.
attracted me. That's what
Okay.
attracted me to her because she would say certain things that I never expected to hear come out of her mouth, whether it
Hmm.
was, you know, music,
Okay.
um, just and one thing about her, she was one of the and still is one of the women who has probably the most common sense of anyone that I've ever met.
Okay.
She understands the ways of the world more so than I had seen with anyone of her age. She
Uh-huh.
was just really wise to the ways of people and
Okay.
how folks are and how life can go. And I'm like, man, this little young girl, you know, she's dropping all this stuff and saying these things.
Dropping
And
gems
so,
on you.
yeah, so it was like I really began, you know, to get more curious. And so we ended up kind of kicking it in secret.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, look, we can't have anybody knowing about this. And,
Right.
you know, of course, that didn't last long. People
Long.
started figuring stuff out. And it finally got to a point where, uh, you know, it got to a point where it got hard on me because I was the
Hmm.
one doing all the worrying.
Right.
And so she ended up,
And I was living life.
yeah, she was living her best life, bro. I was the one who was all stressed
I'm
out.
like,
Well,
dude,
yeah, you had your mom and your dad in your ear, like, boy.
Man, look, we won't even go into that, but
Oh wow. So ultimately, tell me, how did you guys come out to the family? Like, hey, we're dating and we're pretty serious. And how did your parents take it?
so
well, there was a 4-year separation.
yeah,
Huh?
because there's those so things got kind of weird and
Uh-huh.
and intense, and we ended up breaking up.
Okay. Okay.
And through that, you know, I kind of was getting chastised by my parents because I was doing exactly what they told me not to do.
Okay.
And so we broke up, and we were seeing other people.
But at
Um,
that time, they didn't know about me
well,
because they didn't know. No, they didn't know about me until I left and then I came around. But when you were getting
can't
chastised,
remember the two sex stuff to go to work.
but that had nothing to do with.
anyway, anyway,
So
so
what let so if
Did
y'all
not
don't mind,
say that.
Huh?
I don't think he caught that.
Did you hear? Oh,
No,
you didn't catch
He
that?
I
didn't.
didn't catch it.
He
It's
didn't
on
catch
it's recorded, so I'll catch it later. But what I wanted to ask was,
that.
so what led to the, if y'all don't mind, what led to the breakup?
Just I think I personally it was probably more me
Yeah, it
Okay.
was.
because of all the pressure that I was under, knowing that my parents would not approve.
Okay.
Because my father was like, always looking for a reason not to trust me,
Oh,
always letting me know, see, here's why you're not ready.
yeah.
You
Oh,
can't focus on business. You're too busy, blah, 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 blah.
right,
So
right.
I had that hanging over my head, and here I am
Okay.
trying to establish myself, to come in and
And
help
take
run the
over.
business.
Yeah, right, right, right,
Right.
right.
And so it got to be a lot. So
Okay.
that's what led to the breakup. But through that time, while we were apart, we saw other people, but ultimately, you know, I I realized that she was it.
Okay.
And we came back together.
So,
And he,
LaDonna, how did he win you back? What was the one thing he did, or the several things he did in order to get you back? Like, okay, I'm damn what my family think. I want to be with you, and we gonna work this out.
Uh, he called and said he wanted to meet up, and he spilled his heart out. He just said, "There's just no one like you, and I really love you." And that's how it happened.
That's how it
I
happened.
mean, yeah, I don't get really so into the details of it.
Okay.
Some of it becomes a blur because, like you said,
Yeah.
he went his way, and it was 4 years separation. I went my way. He had someone, I had someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm living life. He's, you know, with whoever he was with. You
Okay.
know,
So did it at any?
put it this way, Antonio, he came out with his heart
Okay.
without going into the wording and all that.
Right. I get it.
Came out with he came out with his true feelings in his heart,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought about it, and I just, I'm one of those type of people that um, I don't believe in words. I don't believe like you have to prove yourself. Like you
You
have
needed
to
you needed
action,
action. You needed your words to
actions.
match your
Yeah,
action. Okay. Okay.
you need words to match. You need actions to match
Match
the
your
words.
words. Right. So
So
did at any point in time during that, you guys trying to work things out and get back together, did it get messy? Because you were seeing somebody, he was seeing somebody. Did y'all, was it a clean break or?
no, it wasn't messy at all because I'm a
Okay.
Capricorn. Number one, Capricorns when we're done, we just go ghost.
Okay. Okay.
So and he was always in the back of my mind. So it was
Okay.
like it wasn't like, oh, 4 years. No, we still kept communications open.
yeah.
Uh-huh. So it wasn't
We
a
still
bad breakup. Like it was just, oh,
no,
I don't ever want to see you or talk to you again.
No,
It
no,
just,
no,
okay.
no, no.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
and I'll tell you this, Antonio, and I've talked to, some young guys before, about relationships and marriage, and I will always believe and hold true to the fact that, as a man, sometimes we don't always realize when we have a woman on our team, the right woman on our team.
Absolutely. I totally
And
agree.
when you can say and posture in front of your friends and whatever, but in your quiet moments when you have to really take a true assessment of what's real and who's real, if you realize you have that person, don't run away from that. You know, go to it. And
Yeah.
that's ultimately what I did, because I had to really take an assessment and realize, man, through everything, because she didn't care about the fact that my family owned the business. She didn't care about any of that
Right.
because she just wanted to be with me for who I was, and
Mm-hmm.
that meant a lot because you know how it is out here. Sometimes people are looking at you for what you can do for them and what you have, and it wasn't
Absolutely.
like that at all.
Right.
So, when I really started looking at all that, I was like, man, what am I doing? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what really kind of woke me up, and that's why I tell other brothers, like, as a man, you have to make that conscious decision to really, um, be true to yourself and understand who's on your team
Mm-hmm.
and what they bring to your life, what they bring to the
What
table for
value they
you
add to your
and with
life.
you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
balance too.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, So y'all been y'all it'll be 16 years in when?
May.
Oh yeah.
In May of 2024, it'll be 16 years. Okay, again,
Yes, sir.
congratulations. Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations. Um Now, kids, I just for transparency purpose, folks, I do know this couple who used to train together. They're former clients of mine and now definitely friends of mine. And you guys have two sons, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what are their ages?
15 and 11.
15 and 11. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all gonna be empty nesters in a couple more years. Do y'all have any idea what y'all gonna do with y'all life once the kids is gone?
I really don't see them gone. I don't,
You don't see them gone.
you know what? I don't mind them adjusting their life at home.
Okay.
As long as they go to school, um, I see them, I visualize them getting into some business. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I would want them to stay home and save. So then they'll have a nice savings and still in the minds of generational wealth,
There you
introducing them
go.
to the real estate
Yeah.
business
Okay.
and letting them, because I'm not trying to push them out.
And you know what, though, LaDonna, you say something interesting because I think as blacks, we tend to raise our kids like, okay, you got to hurry up, raise them, get out of the house. But in other cultures, the kids stay home as long as they can till they get themselves together. To even if they got enough money to buy a home, you know what I'm saying? Like they coalesce around one another so that everybody can, so you can hit the ground running. Success. So I definitely,
Exactly.
yeah. So I definitely like that. I definitely like that attitude, and I think we need to do more of that as a culture, as a people, but also making sure our kids, because I've heard horror stories about parents and their kids, and they just out doing all kind of knuckleheaded ass stuff, and
Yep.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, and then you like, you know what, you got to go because you upsetting the balance of my home. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely, I definitely love the sound of that. We definitely got to promote more of that, allowing our kids to be in this environment where we're cultivating their minds. And I want you to hit the ground running, but you're not gonna sit around here and lay up on my couch and eat Doritos and watch video games all day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So of course. Um. So y'all been married. It'll be 16 years. So I just want to get right into it. Has there ever been a time prior to since the after the 4-year breakup? Did you guys ever consider calling it quits
No.
during your
Nah.
16 years? Okay.
We were just talking about that yesterday. I said, Lenny, people would not believe that we could actually count how many times on our hands, that we've had like a big old riff.
Okay. All right. What would you attribute to that?
Knowing each other since 1993.
Yeah, we know each other. And it's like respect each other's space.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I believe in, you know, if he has his certain area that he wants to be in, that's his moment. He's a Capricorn. I mean, he's a Cancer. He needs a shell to hibernate in. You know what I mean? He needs that moment.
Yes, sir.
And I respect I respect that time that
Okay.
him having
Okay.
his time just
Yeah.
as much as he respect me having mine. Because
I want.
as a Capricorn, I'm always in my head. I'm always thinking. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And so
Yeah.
so
So it
it's
with it along that same line of response, LaDonna. Do you okay? Lenny has his lane. You has your lane. Do y'all have a? Is there a issue with if say if Lenny needs some time to himself? Do y'all have to plan that out, or is it kind of like, okay, I need some me time, or is there such thing as me time in a marriage?
it is. I mean, for certain marriages,
Okay,
every marriage is built up differently. I mean, you
absolutely.
can't. And there's real technically no textbook way of how to be married.
There you go. Did y'all hear that, folks? There is no textbook. You kind of got to work this thing out. I
You
love
do.
that. Yeah, I
You do.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you got married, there's the words that we have to honor
Hmm.
as being married, and some people don't honor
Yeah.
it,
Right.
and some people just don't take it seriously. But in order for a marriage to grow, you have to understand each other, number one. Number two, marriage is a business. It's a business. And
Can
you
you speak
don't,
more? Can you speak more on that too once you finish giving your explanation?
yeah. So um, a marriage being a business is you have to cater to each other, and it's not all about, oh, sex. It's not all about sex. You have to have intimacy. If you don't
Hmm.
have intimacy, what do you have?
Right, 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 right.
You got to be friends. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? You have to have that communication. If one person is not filling up to the communication, then you have to respect that moment because what it is, it's a moment.
Same moment.
Okay, and people will get over it. So you just have to pick that perfect time to
Listen here, y'all. Y'all getting 16 years in the game right here. Y'all already. I knew y'all was gonna drop some gems. I couldn't wait to talk to y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Moments. And the thing is, what people have to understand that is marriage is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's
yeah.
a marathon.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to every what am I gonna say? So everything is not a fight, an argument, a battle. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you gotta
Right.
pick and choose when you do that.
Right. Because guess what? You end up arguing and you don't even really understand what you were arguing about,
Yeah,
So what's the
absolutely.
point? You
Right.
know? Um,
And you know what, Antonio, I'll add this. When you were asking the question about, you know, what's made our marriage work, I will always believe that it is so important to know the person that you're marrying. Uh, I've seen people dive into things, and like she said, there's no textbook. Some people have known each other for a short time, and
make it last
they can
forever.
and they can tie the knot and make it work. But I think the one thing that's worked for us is because we've known each other for so long. When we finally decided to get married, there were no surprises.
Okay.
Like, oh, I didn't know you were like this, or oh, I didn't
Mhm.
know you were into that.
Yeah.
We really know each other, and like she said, we're friends. Like when we were just hanging out together, we laughed together. Love music. Like we knew what each other liked. We knew
Okay.
what our common threads were,
Okay.
and that makes to me that makes a huge difference. Like it's so bad now, like we joke around and like, no, you rubbing off on me, no, you rubbing off on me, you I didn't get that from you, you got that from so, and
Y'all
it's
look
cool like that, man.
Yeah, y'all look
you
like
know
a very fun couple, and I definitely wouldn't because we're we all in Detroit, so I definitely at some point maybe during the summer do a double date. My wife and your wife, when we go hang out, go get something to eat, have some drinks. I definitely want to hang out with you guys. Um, because I feel like that about my wife. Like I love, and I see that with y'all. Like I love hanging out with her. You know what I'm saying? Like I thoroughly enjoy her company. You know, and I'm saying that to say this because sometimes I feel guilty if I go do something with my boys. Do y'all have that? Like if you go off and do something with your girlfriends or your boys, like dang, do you feel that? Not that it's a problem, but do you feel a little something? Because I know I do. When I get ready to go hang out with the fellas or whatever, I feel a little something because I really enjoy spending time with my wife.
I think we're a little different, Antonio, because we've known each other for so long, and I feel like this. I did a lot of living in my young years.
Okay.
A lot of living. I ran the streets. I had my fun. I did all of
You
that.
ain't run no
Mhm.
street.
Yeah. But um but I'm at a point where like I got a very small circle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to my boys, quote unquote, I maybe have, not including my younger brother who's my dog. I
Okay.
only have maybe two other people that I would really hang out with. So I don't ever have to do oh man, I need a boys' night out. Da, da, da,
Okay.
da. You know, like she said earlier, if I need some time, I can do that right here in the house.
Okay.
Like, and it might be she knows during football season, I'm watching Red Zone, and the games are on all day, and she
Uh-huh.
lets me have that.
Okay.
But by the same token, I'm gonna make sure that things around the house, are done or whatever needs to be done. If I can help her with something, I'm gonna do that. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'll miss some games if we're doing something or there's something that needs attention.
Yeah.
But as far as boys' night out and all that stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I wish she would go out. If anything, I feel like she doesn't go out, and it's not because I don't want her to, but we really are so used to being around each other that that works for us. And that, when we had our boys, man, they changed our lives. And we love being with our kids. Like our
Uh-huh.
kids are really used to being with us, and
Okay.
now that they're older, we can finally step out if we want to.
Uh-huh.
But we are really a self-contained unit, brother.
Okay.
We're together a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Date night for us is, I get real excited. We go to Home Depot.
What is it?
Home Depot.
Home Depot. That's excitement for you, LaDonna. Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Because we like doing stuff around our house, man.
I can, get those creative juices going, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh, let's go to Home Depot. Let's check out some new appliances. Let's,
Uh-huh.
anything that's going to make the home more comfortable.
Okay. Okay.
So,
All right.
because
So
I think that's why we work, because I think we both believe that when you get married and you establish a household, you establish it physically, but you make your house nice, so that's where you want to be. That's why you have a deck with a grill. That's why you have a nice finished basement,
mm-hmm.
because that's how you chill.
Yeah, yeah.
and your mind has to always be on, when you beautifying your home, then you adding more equities to it. So,
There she goes. She's
That's
speaking
the
business.
business. That's the business.
I ain't mad
so
at you.
So we're at the age now, we're thinking about, do we keep the house? Do we sell the house? We want a ranch. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anything that's going to bring more value to our life,
Mm-hmm.
that's date night.
Okay. Okay. All
That's the
right.
bit, and that's the business.
Dude,
That's
we,
the
we
business.
will we will sit up and chill in the bed and watch HGTV and like just start going.
Yeah.
Just start
Like,
going.
ooh, check
Okay.
that out. Oh man, what about that? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of things that we've done to the house have been inspired. She's the creative genius though, as far
Uh-huh.
as the interior, but it's just she'll say this might look good, and at first I won't see it, and then I'll see it again, like, yeah. So,
Okay.
we're just different like that, man. We just like, you know, being around each other, being around our kids, and taking care of our house. Real
Okay.
simple.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I see a piano in the back. Who plays?
Oh no, that's a backdrop, brother.
Oh, that's a backdrop. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We gonna play one of the games. I'm gonna ask 3 questions from the game, and if I have to read the letters off, let me know.
Okay, so that's
I can't see.
TBT, BTS, TJ.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Is that the song?
Is this a song?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Say it again.
So I'll try to give you some clues.
Yeah.
Let's see. The okay, I didn't say one of the letters already, but dark. It's like a liquid. One of the words. What's another word for it's not water, but it's sweet.
Oh, I got it. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
There you go. Yep. All right.
I
Here's the
married you
next.
because you're so smart.
All right. This is something that LaDonna, your mama might have said to you if you were dancing.
I got it. SWYMGY. Loop.
Shake what your mama gave.
Boom.
Yep.
Look, my mother would have said, shake what your mother gave. Your mother would have said, sit your ass down.
All right, this is a long one. I'm gonna say more Christmassy, churchy. It is a gospel song, though. I will say that.
Okay, so what you said?
JJLWATA IMLPNBT.
Huh.
I'm gonna give y'all like maybe 10 more seconds.
That's so many letters on that.
Yes.
It's a churchy, it's a gospel song.
Yeah, I want to say it's got to be a gospel song.
Who's the artist? Can you give us that?
You know what? It don't tell you the artist, but it's joyful, Lord, we adore thee, and in my life I put none before thee.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay. So
you see, we got all the secular stuff. You see, that don't look good, man.
That's all right. Has there okay, you know your wedding vows, to love, honor, and cherish. Have y'all marriage vows ever been put to the test? Meaning, like for say for example, somebody gets sick, and you have heard marriages where say the wife gets sick or the husband gets sick, and then um so you say for sickness and in health, but then the other person is like I've heard of people breaking up because they's like, I didn't sign up for this. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
have
have
too.
your marriage vows ever been put to the test?
Wouldn't say that they were put to the test, not, you know. So, um, I would have to say for the, they say for rich or for poor.
Okay.
Okay. I totally quit what I was doing, which was the being in the optical industry,
Mm-hmm.
to pursue getting my mortgage license to, sell mortgages.
Okay.
So by me being so used to um, having my, you know, having my own money,
Mm-hmm.
he allowed me to have, I shouldn't say, because some people be like, what she mean? Allow her to have her own money. But my bank account was I believe in having mine and ours.
Yeah.
So whenever, dang, I don't even know how to put that without it making it just seem so bold, but I like to be a healthy participant in our life, in our
Okay.
marriage,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know. So if we need to go
You
on a
mean you
vacation,
mean do you mean contributing like
financially,
Financially,
financially? Okay.
financially,
yes.
Okay.
yeah, financially. So it was a lot. I felt because I was always feeling like, okay, yeah, he's doing what most people say a man does in a marriage. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
he does that, cover everything, and only thing that I'm paying for is my credit cards or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? But and that was getting on my nerves that I would, he was covering everything, because by me being the type of person that I am and how I was raised, I can handle what I created.
Did that spill over into your? That's what I'm asking. So did that spill over into your marriage? Did you feel that, Lenny? Like
But he didn't
unnecessary?
feel it, but I did.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
here's what I'll say about that. She LaDonna's a go-getter. When she was in optical, she was always top salesperson. Like she goes after it.
Okay. 0 to 100.
And yeah. So, but one thing I know about her, again, when you know somebody and you hear things, you don't forget them. So she always would make comments about real estate. Like, if you remember going driving down Southfield near 10 Mile, there was like this real estate school or something right there. And
Yeah.
she would
Yeah.
always talk about getting a real estate license. And so that's something that she always had a passion for. So she decided to make a career change. And so she worked at UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage, and kind of to get her feet wet. And I think that's where she realized the true direction that she wanted to go, and that was become a mortgage loan originator.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to do that, you have to get licensed, and the testing process is brutal.
It's brutal.
And so there's a lot of information. So she basically stopped working to pursue this.
Okay.
And I didn't really give it a second thought. I wasn't like, well, because, yeah, we're a two-income household, but we make it work. That's the one thing that I love about her, is that no matter what the situation is, she's the one who keeps me encouraged. Because sometimes I'll get, how we get as cancers, Antonio, we
Yeah.
like
Right.
we looking at stuff and like, oh my
Yeah.
God. But she always was like, look, it's gonna work, we're fine,
Yeah.
we're good. But I didn't give it a second thought, because she's always, like I said before, been on my team no matter what. No matter what. She's never wavered. So when she said she wanted to make a career change, I was good with it. And yeah, sure, it got tight, but she was committed. I mean, she was studying hours upon hours upon hours. And she accomplished her goal. She passed that test, got that license, and she did what she needed to do. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it was put to the test. Yeah, we had to, look at some things and figure some things out, but I never wavered, and she didn't either.
Did you have a conversation with your husband prior to making this decision, life changing decision, LaDonna?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. So that was the thing because, like I said, I like to, I'm a very considerate person.
Uh-huh.
I'm like I can feel emotion. I'm very
Okay.
considerate of everything. So it's like, okay, let me do this. Let me hurry it up, because
Do what what advice prior to getting married, what advice would you give your younger self prior to getting married? And before you answer that question, had either of you ever been married prior to?
No.
no,
This is your first marriage. Okay. What advice, being married as long as you have been married, what advice would you give yourself prior to getting married?
That's a good question. I think that for me as a man, again, I think men, especially black men, need to always make sure that they are true to this game called marriage.
Okay. Meaning,
Because meaning we all know what's going on out here in the world, as far as black men and women, this whole premise of there's no good black men out here. There's 10 women to every one man, whatever the ratio is.
uh-huh.
And so you have guys who play on that and they leave a trail of wreckage. Um, I think that as a black man, you can't play with a woman when it comes to marriage. You have to make the conscious decision to be all the way in it. You can't have one foot in the club and one foot in the marriage. You can't do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the reason I think it took me so long to get married was because I knew that I was not ready. I knew I was not fully there to really be all in. And that's why I said earlier, when you know you have someone that's really on your team, you better get in there because it makes a big difference. So I think that I was wise to listen to my younger self then and not dive into something and wait till I knew I was ready and had the right person.
Okay, okay, okay. I can honestly definitely agree with you on that, Lenny. I think I- the com- the I think for me, I have to say that I think I did. I wasn't married, but I know there's some relationships that I've been in where I to the point that you made, I think I left a trail of wreckage. Like I know there were some points where I messed over some pretty decent women. You know what I'm saying? And I had to go back and apologize because it wasn't them, it was me. They were ready for something much more. But I know for sure I'm with the right person now. But I did. I know I left a trail of wreck. I was no good. There were certain points in my life where I know I was just out here worried about me and wasn't thinking
Yeah,
about nobody else. But I had to go back, especially as I started to get more sense of self, more sense of the things of more self-awareness with my people, you know what I'm saying? The things that I did, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't always a good guy, you know. But I had to go back and to make amends for those things, if not only for myself, but also maybe I was helping somebody else to get some closure. Like because
right.
who knows what my actions may have brought on to the female that I was dealing with, how she started to view herself and think about herself.
Yeah,
So I wanted to go back and try to correct some of that.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, women they mature so much. I used to hate to admit this, but they mature so much faster than we do. They're ready for stuff and be on stuff a whole lot quicker than we are.
Yeah. Well, look, LaDonna knew that we were going to be getting married before I knew, and she said, you would make a good husband, and I laughed. I was like, you know, if you thinking about that for me, you got the wrong one. And she was like, all right, we'll see. And here we
So,
are.
okay, because I'm glad you brought that up, Lenny, because like I told my wife, I've never, like, I interviewed this one couple, it was two, and this was so strange for me to hear that to hear a black man say that was one of my goals. I always wanted to be married. That was never a mission of mine.
Me either.
And it was because I didn't see that. And this is what I wanted to ask you. And LaDonna, I still want you to answer the initial question. What advice would you give yourself? But did either one of you have a template from which to work with to know, okay, this is what I want to model my marriage after? You know what I'm saying? Like, how long were your parents married?
See, I see that's a very good question because
Yeah.
I never you have girls that grow up and they dream of getting married, having families, and living in, you know, white picket fence house,
Right.
whatever. That
Right.
wasn't me. That
Okay.
wasn't me.
Okay.
I was always career goal driven, just goals, just always just doing me and getting out there.
What brought that
So
on? I want you to keep that frame of thought, but what was that? What was the driver? What got LaDonna to that point in her life? Was it your
the type
mother,
of
your father?
my
I mean,
well, see, my upbringing was a little different.
okay.
So my family were go-getters, you know what I mean? My mom worked at the plant, then worked at Oak Park school system when the situations with the plant was all messed up. Um, I brothers and my brother's friends. So I was that girl that was basically raised up by my brothers.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't have the typical female views of love and marriage and all that other stuff, you know, being in a relationship. And I just didn't. And it's just so when
So
Lenny and I got,
when did you
go
come to the
ahead.
realization you wanted to be married then?
Oh, well, Lenny was the person
Okay.
because, okay, so when we were together and dating and everything, I realized that, well, I have to go back when we went on our date and I said, you know what? I have to be with a person that's comfortable with comfortable silence. It doesn't feel like that you always got to say something in those moments. Just be
Okay.
comfortable in silence. And he did that. And
Okay.
then a person that can just make me laugh and me being my goofy self. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I was comfortable with he him being comfortable with knowing that I'm really silly because a lot of
Okay.
people thought that I was just like really serious, a serious person, but no, I'm really goofy. Um, so there was that, and then except for my brothers and my mom, and and then just somebody that just loves to just laugh.
Okay.
Okay, and it was funny, so it was like, okay, well, let's do this. And when we finally got together, it was when when I was looking for a loft. That's how it happened.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like,
Oh
okay,
man.
I'm about to go on out. I'm about to go ahead and separate myself from my mom, cut the umbilical cord, and do my own thing. Okay, but I'm just me.
Uh-huh.
So I said, Linda, you want to go with me? He said, yeah. So when he saw that, okay, yeah, I'm about to get this loft. So I'm signing the papers and everything for the loft. And the lady looks over at Lenny and she goes, are you going to do this? And I said, if you sign these papers, and this is what I said, you sign these papers, we're not playing
How?
house.
Yeah. Okay, and Antonio, that was really what really put us on the track because she was living with her mom. I had my own place, and she had decided she needed her space. It was time for her to separate from her mom. So she always said she wanted to live in the loft. She
Yeah.
had
Okay.
always said that, and this was before lofts were even popular.
Yeah.
Okay.
She always wanted that loft style living, and she had found this place in what was now Midtown. It wasn't even called Midtown
Yeah. We were
when
the people living in the building. It was funny. So,
yeah, so I was just going with her,
Uh-huh.
and then they showed us a unit, and I was like, man, this is nice. And I think I made a comment like, man, yeah, I could do this. And she kind of looked at me like, what? Because I had never even said anything about living together.
Uh-huh.
And so when it came time to sit down and figure out what was up, I said, "Well, I'll live with you." And then that's when she had the pen to paper and looked at me. I'll never forget it. She gave me this look and was like, "Now look, if I sign this thing, I'm not trying to play house. We in this all the way for real."
Ooh.
Yeah, and I was like,
Okay.
"Okay." And so we got the loft and we lived together, and that started us right down the road to marriage, man. That was
Okay.
it. And
Okay.
I wasn't really
Wow.
that nervous about it, to be honest with you, because I knew her.
Okay.
I knew who she
You
was,
ain't had no
and
second thoughts about jumping in there with both feet. He was like,
no,
I'm
man,
in.
and it proved to be right because we worked. It worked. I mean, we had no problem being together.
And you
Oh,
know, it's so funny you asking about the younger self. Um, I even told Lenny, I said, you know what? If I had to play my life all over again, I would do this all over again.
She said
wow.
that today.
I said that today
Yep.
because
Wow.
because the way life is, this was supposed to be this way.
Yeah, okay.
You know, you know. So in my mind, I thought, okay, well, go, graduate out of high school, go away to HBCU, graduate out from there, go to medical school, be a
Uh-huh.
doctor, blah blah blah.
You want to be a
Well,
doctor?
I was going to be a optometrist.
Okay.
So um, but that's not the direction the universe have me and God has me. This is where I'm supposed to be,
Okay.
and
All
I'm
right.
good with that.
Yeah. And so back to that original question, what advice would you give yourself prior to getting married? What would you say?
Don't be so hard on myself. That's the thing. I am very
Don't be
hard
so
on
hard. You said don't be so hard on yourself.
myself. Yeah,
How
yeah.
okay, can you
Like
can you unpack that a little more for me?
I will because I'm an overthinker. So I have to
Mhm.
have an alternative for the alternative for everything.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so I had a health scare beginning of 2023, which
Okay.
I think that led to I had a heart attack. Put it there. I had a heart attack
Okay.
in
Well,
January of
I'm so
2023.
glad you okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and it was not. It had nothing to do with my health. It was about stressing out.
Hmm.
Okay.
It was stress induced.
It was stress induced.
Wow. Okay.
So so I was always a person that stressed a lot, but I did it quietly. People didn't know that I was going through that. I would go through it quietly. I wasn't one of those people who freaking out and have everybody else freaking out. No,
Okay.
you wouldn't know that I was stressing out because I would just be so in
So
my
you suffer
head.
so you suffer in silence.
I suffer in silence. So
Wow.
if I could tell a younger person that's, in my same trails, let it go.
If you have y'all had, because I think I heard you mention this, Lenny. Have you had couples come? Because I know people gotta admire y'all. Y'all been together 16 years. Y'all look like y'all have fun together. Y'all enjoy each other's company. Have you had couples come to you and like, hey, how do you do it? What do you know what I'm saying? Like, and what advice would you have you given them? And without going into details, because I don't want nobody putting nobody's business out there, but have you had to counsel couples or people who came to you, especially other black men like Lenny? How do you make this work? Like
People we know been married longer than us.
Yeah,
that
we
y'all done
know a
had to
lot of.
talk to, then talk them off the ledge?
No, no, no. I've had uh some younger black men come to me, and I've talked to them, and I know that so my niece actually have come to us before, and I actually married. I performed the ceremony for my niece and my now nephew.
Okay.
And it started out as a joke. We were hanging out as a family, and they were planning their wedding, and they were trying to figure out who was going to perform the ceremony. And me and my niece are real close, and she just happened to joke and say, "Man, I wish you could marry me, Uncle Lenny. That would be awesome." And I was like, "For real?" And she said, "Yeah." So while we were sitting there, I pulled out my phone and went online and found, what you have to do to become an officiant. and and I said, "Okay, I'm all good. We can do it." And so I'm an officiant, and I can perform ceremonies, wedding and funeral. And man, that was one of the highest honors of my life
All
to
right.
perform the ceremony for my niece and nephew. They're both really great people, man. That was a huge honor for me.
Awesome, man. Oh man, wow. That's amazing. Um, do you remember when you proposed to your wife? Do you remember how it happened?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
tell us about it.
I remember the day I proposed was the day that I
LaDonna,
went.
let's see if he get this right. Now I know it's been 16 years. Let's see if he
He's
get
not.
this right.
But see, this is the thing, Al. He's not the one to for the memory. It's me. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I'm, I'm the one that's bad with the
because
memory.
it came like boom, boom, boom. Because we had gone and looked at the ring, and I was putting a little money on it, but then I finally decided to go get it,
Uh-huh.
and so when I went to get it, I called her mom and I called her brothers, and we were living at the loft, and I
At the loft,
came,
you signed your name too. It was like, hey, I'm in this
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and I remember coming home with the ring, and Terrence was there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yep, her brother was there, and I remember dropping down on one knee and pulling that ring out.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, man, it was I remember it like it was yesterday.
No, but
Wow.
see, but this is the funny part, though, Al. Um, we end up being we were planning for the wedding,
Uh-huh.
okay, and in the planning of the wedding, I end up getting pregnant.
Yep,
Ooh.
So, um, so what ended up happening with that, the wedding ended up getting moved ahead.
Oh, so y'all had to jump ahead on the wedding.
We had to
Okay.
jump
yeah,
ahead on the wedding because I was not going to
Down that
walk down
aisle,
the
6 months
aisle.
pregnant.
I started as soon as I found out that I was pregnant. It seemed like I just started blowing up.
Oh, wow.
And so you can't buy a wedding dress and be pregnant in this wedding dress. So we end up going to getting married and going to Vegas.
Okay.
but there's a little backstory to that too, because while we were playing again, finding the right woman who's on your team
Yeah.
and brings balance to your life.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through this, trying to plan this wedding, man, and my mother just starts flipping and tripping, you know,
Ooh.
trying to, dictate, who I should be inviting and who
Oh,
who.
wow.
Oh, and it got to the point, and I was so annoyed and stressed out having the right woman. LaDonna was like, you know what? Bump this. Before I knew it, she had set the whole thing up in Vegas.
Wow.
She did everything, man. She set it all up, bro. Everything.
Dang.
And so I called my parents. I'm like, look, we're going to Vegas. You're free to join us if you want to, but if not, that's okay too.
Okay.
Um, but
No one knew we were pregnant though.
yeah, we kept that part quiet.
Okay.
But my sister was the maid of honor, and my brother was my best man, and we had a couple other friends and family out there, and it was awesome, man. It was great.
Mm. Donna, so how's your relationship with your in-laws or your because I think your parents passed away, Lenny?
My parents passed away. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So they're very loving towards me. They're like my
Okay.
parents. They're
Okay.
what they say, love in-laws and love.
Okay.
I don't have in-laws. I have
Yeah,
love in-laws and love.
yeah.
In-laws.
They're
Okay.
not
Love in-laws.
they're not outlaws.
They're not
Okay. They're
outlaws.
not outlaws. All right.
But again, Antonio, going back to that too, because when it became clear that it was LaDonna who was in my life,
Mm-hmm.
of course some eyebrows went up early on.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the day I told my mother that we had gotten real serious.
Okay.
We were at my sister's house celebrating, I think it was around Christmas, and I took my mother outside and I said, look, I gotta tell you something. I said, me and LaDonna are together and we're gonna be together. This thing is serious, it's for real. So I'm just telling you now so you can be ready to accept it because she's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Come to find out from my mother's best friend, she already suspected it. And, and told her best friend, she said, I think he's gonna end up marrying that girl.
Oh, wow.
So she already knew.
Okay.
Another
Okay.
Capricorn, of course.
If you could describe your marriage in 5 words or less, how would you describe it?
For me, I would say more blessings than I imagined.
Okay.
More blessings than I am. And I,
That's your wife. You know who you married to.
Bro.
How would you describe your marriage, LaDonna? What would you What if you get 5 words or less? If it's more, it's okay.
Say it's a fun journey.
Okay. All right.
It's a fun
What
journey.
what season would you say your marriage is in right now? Like, is it spring, summer, fall? You're in a transition. What season would you say your marriage is in right now?
All seasons are good.
Okay.
Okay, so all seasons are good, be it spring, summer, or fall. So winter is a joyous moment. Okay for the
Okay.
holidays.
All right.
Um,
It moves fast too,
it
brother.
moves because
Oh
I
yeah.
don't feel like we've been married that.
It does not feel like 16
It
years.
don't feel like
When you
16
say
years?
when you
No,
no, because when you say that, I'm like, dang,
no,
is it that? Has it? It
it
don't
doesn't,
feel.
brother. When I tell you it moves fast, it moves fast. And
Okay.
maybe that's because, you got the right one, but I mean, because every day we have full days, man. Our days are full. That might be because of our kids. I mean, our kids have brought us so much joy. The battle for me has been amazing, and so
Yeah.
the
I'm getting a
16 has
little
gone
bit of
by like that.
I'm getting a little bit of feedback from your mic. Like it's
Really?
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's better.
Yep. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple more clues from the game.
Wow,
And
this
the
is
letters are I, P, U, A, T, C, V, G, T, O, E, B, A, D, O, M.
you got to give us some hints on that. That's
Yeah,
great.
because I
Okay.
can't even letter.
I
Let's see. It's another name for a party spot. Let's see.
Juke joint.
No, what's another name for a juke joint?
The
What they
wall.
call it? It's not a juke joint, it's not a party spot, not a it's another it start with a C, but it's another name for where you go to party at.
Cabaret.
Cabaret. I don't
Nope.
know.
Another word start with a C.
Man,
It's
Okay,
another word
so
for a club, and it starts with a C.
that's it. That's it. That's the word. The club. That's one of
Oh,
the words. That's one of the words in the sentence.
up in the club.
All right, I'm gonna give y'all this one because I don't even know. I ain't even got no good clues with it. I pull up at the club, VP gas tank on E, but all drinks on me. I don't know
uh,
what artist that is either.
wait a minute.
Isn't it?
You
Gotta
know
know
what
what
All
artist
drink.
that is?
club. All drinks on me. No.
Is that a West Coast rapper? I
Hey, where the party's at? Is that it? No.
I don't know.
I
I've
don't
heard the
know.
lyric. I'm never gonna place it.
All
Watch
right, so
what
here's another one. Oh, so this is y'all know this artist. He passed away several years ago. It wasn't Michael Jackson. He passed away a
Was it
couple years
Prince?
ago. Yeah,
Was it
so it
Prince?
is a Prince song. One of his most famous songs from the Purple Rain album.
we can't see the letters.
It's TIWISLWD.
TIWISLWDC. Come on now, y'all got this one now.
The Purple Rain.
Yeah, from Purple Rain.
It's from the Purple Rain album.
She's the Prince.
No, I'm. Don't put
And
me
they
on here to
play
say.
this one. This was really one of my favorite songs. They played this one more than they played anything from the Purple Rain album.
What, Doves Cry?
Yep.
Yeah, this is
This
what
is
it sounds like when doves
When
cry.
Doves Cry. Yep. All right. So here's the next one. James Brown said this in one of his songs. It was our anthem for a long time.
Oh, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
There you go. All right. All right. Yeah, good job. Good job. Good job. So all right. So y'all been married 16 years. When y'all have had problems, how do y'all work through them? Like when there is an issue, how do y'all work through that?
LaDonna said something earlier about respecting space.
Uh-huh.
I would say that she's really good at knowing me and knowing that sometimes she just needs to back away for a minute,
Okay.
and then we can come back together and talk through it.
Okay. What is it when you get upset about something, Lenny? It sounds like you do need a moment just to kind of collect your thoughts. Donna, what does that look? LaDonna, what does that look like for you when you get upset about something? How do you process it, and then how does your husband respects that process?
I work through it I work through my problems. So, and I don't always like verbalize it. I just work through it because to me, if I could solve whatever it is, I'm gonna solve it and just keep it moving. I don't always
Okay.
make it so vocal. And that
Okay.
might not be healthy for some people, but it works for us. It works for
Oh,
me. It's like I don't want to talk about the problem if we don't know how to figure out the solution.
got you.
And Antonio, there have been times, again, as men, we're always, we got to be strong, we got to dominate, we have to. But there's been times where she's had to tell me about myself, and I've had to just take it
Mm.
and internalize that and be real about it. And
Can
and
you
and
can you point to a recent time where she's had to do that? Where you were like, you know what, she right, she right.
I mean, I think, and throughout the course of your marriage, that happens
With anything,
with
like
anything. Like we may
so
have differing opinions, but like we, in fact, we were talking about something, and the whole subject of control came up.
Uh-huh.
And she said something to me that I didn't expect. She said, "You're real controlling." And I said, "What?" I said, "I'm not controlling." She said, "You are." She
yeah.
said, "But I just don't make an issue about it. I just, I pick my battles. But oh yeah, you're controlling."
Hmm.
And I think about that everything since she said that. I'm like, wow, really? Am I controlling? But I mean, I could probably see why she says that.
But you know what the thing is though, Lenny and LaDonna, it's like your spouse is a mirror, and they pretty much reflect back to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you you when you and your spouse, like when y'all look at one another, it's almost like you see a reflection of yourself in your spouse. So if she said that, there may be some truth to that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
so what you're saying is I'm controlling.
Yes.
no,
Yes.
no, that's
Thank you,
not what
sir.
I'm saying.
Look, we
I'm
have
just saying, like, when
we
your
have
when
our
your
moments. Both of us do.
yeah, but when your spouse tell you something, because sometimes they tell you the ugly truth, and you may not
Yeah,
necessarily want to hear it. Like, dang,
man.
and you have to
You
walk
better say it.
away. Yeah, and sometimes you have to walk away because my wife has said that to me. Like, I mean, she don't like apologizing, but she had to say, like, you know what, you were right. I didn't want to admit it, but yeah, same thing with myself. If she says something to me and I don't necessarily like it, I try to take a moment at least to go consider what she's saying, where's she getting this from. You know what I'm saying? There
Yeah,
may be some truth to what she's saying. And I
yeah,
think, like I said earlier, and you mentioned, you do have to pick your battles in a marriage. Like you do,
yeah,
everything is not a fight. You just because you can't. You'll spend all your days, and then I know this one couple I interviewed, and the wife would because I was asking them, one of the questions I asked them is how do they work through their issues. She said well, she would get mad and she would be mad for days. So he said he had to tell his wife, he said, listen, he said, I'm okay with you being upset with me about things, but you staying mad for 2 and 3 days at a time, that's time wasted. We could have been enjoying one another. Tell me what's wrong. Now, if you need a moment, but they came to a consensus where when she gets mad about something, he knows to back off, let her have her moment because she's an introvert. Give her a moment, and then they go back and they reassess it. As opposed to I'm the kind of person I like to talk. I want to talk. I want to. If it's something bothering you, let's talk it out. And I'm the same. If it's something bothering me, I'm the same way. Let's talk about it. But my wife, like, she don't mind talking, but if I don't quite get it and I start drilling home, that's when she gets upset. If I keep drilling, because I want to know, I want to make sure I fully understand what the problem is. Lenny, as men, we're fixers. Don't tell me about it if you don't want me to fix it. Don't
and
tell me about
also, again, picking your battles. Like I know there's people I know that have will fall out because somebody left hair in the sink. And that's why I'm like, the picking battles thing is real,
Oh
because
yeah,
some
absolutely.
people will go way too far with, why did you left the washcloth hanging off, or and that's
But
it's
you know
not
what?
worth it. But there are people who destroy stuff over that.
Oh wait,
Absolutely.
let me give you an example. Okay. So this is funny. See, what saves him is I like to joke about everything. Okay.
Here we go.
So so I thought it was so funny, but it was real. I'm washing clothes and the filter oh, so he caught, he was cancering and he had one of these labelers and he ended up writing a note. See, this is the controlling part.
I made a label.
He made a label, taped it on the dryer, and was like clean filter.
The lead filter in the dryer.
There. Right. Instead of going off and roasting or whatever, showed everybody. I showed my cousin. I was like, look at this crazy mess right here. And then so a friend of mine, I showed it to her, and she was like, well, he telling the truth, because she always took his side, Shireen. She always took his side. No, because then she gave me an example of somebody she knew they didn't clean the lead filter and the house caught fire. I said, I get all of that. But what black hole family gonna label the dryer like this? So we joked and
Oh.
laughed about it. And then when I went to him, I was laughing so hard about it, he had to take the note down because he at that point.
Oh yeah, I took it off. I was like, damn, because when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, that was kind of messed up. But
that
but
was kind of petty, Lenny. That was kind of petty.
yeah, it was.
But you know what?
Right.
But I totally get it. Like when we talk about pick your battles. So my wife she don't like to separate the clothes. She don't like the, not that she don't like to wash. I don't want to say she don't like to wash. I do that. She separates the clothes. I'll do the washing. Let me take that back. She don't like to fold the clothes. She don't mind wash. She don't like to fold the clothes. So here's how it works over here at our household. She'll separate all the clothes because she didn't like the way I separated them. So she separates the clothes. I washes them. But here's the thing. She'll put her stuff to the side, wash her stuff, and leave out me. Now, mind you, I could get an attitude about it, but I did bring it to her attention. I said, I just find it odd that you'll go through separating all the clothes, separate your stuff, and then you'll wash your stuff. And then she said, well, I like to wash my stuff. I don't like washing my stuff with everybody. I said, do you know how much stuff we do together? What do you mean you don't want to wash your clothes with my clothes? But you know what? It wasn't a battle. Here's another thing with the going stand on the line of laundry. So I don't mind washing. I don't mind folding. I don't mind doing any of that. So I get ready to fold the towels and all this other stuff. She'll come behind me and refold the towels because they wasn't folded the way her grandmother folded them. I said, I tell you what, you keep doing that. I'm going to put them in the closet. If you want to go back and do them, that's on you. I'm not even about to get mad about that. I'm not. That's on you. But I'm going to keep folding the towels the way I've been folding them. And if you want to go back and redo them, by all means, have at it.
Listen, I get roasted about how I fold shirts, so I already understand, man.
But again, like I said, you pick your battles.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not anything worth getting upset about. You joke about it. Like he laughs about how I make up the bed.
Uh-huh.
I don't want
Was
him
it? Is
making up the bed.
Is it like a hotel thing, Lenny? It was tight.
Yes,
And you
brother.
can't get in there.
Look, she makes an incredible bed. Like, I think I do okay, but it's certainly not to her standard.
Okay.
And she has definitely gone behind me and fixed that bed. Or sometimes, like if she has been out and when she comes back, I have the bed made up. She's like, "Yeah, I saw that Lenny style bed you made, and I
But you
think I
know,
did pretty good."
right. But our lesson to everybody who's listening right now, one I do is, again, I think you heard it from a 16-year veteran couple who've been in the game, got a lot of skin in the game. Everything is not a battle. To me, if you arguing about toothpaste off the cap here in the scene, there's a bigger issue at hand.
Yes, sir.
There's a
Absolutely.
bigger
not the
issue at hand.
toothpaste. It's
Yeah.
other things
Yeah.
that
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
build up.
underlying issues, and you need to and you need to be honest with each other about what those issues are and tackle those issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you need to tackle those issues.
Yes, sir.
Um, how important, LaDonna? You mentioned earlier about sex and intimacy. Is there a difference between sex and intimacy, and do you guys have to plan that out?
No, we just I like the intimacy part. If you
From a
can
woman's
be
perspective, what is the difference? Because some men don't get this. Because I always love to ask women this: what is the difference between sex and intimacy?
intimacy is being having the conversation, joking around, cuddling. Not necessarily because I'm not a big cuddler. Seriously, I'm not.
Okay.
But to me, I don't really sleep well if he's not in the bed.
Okay.
So it's like if watching TV or whatever, he's finishing work and I'm laying in the bed, I'll fall off, but I'm not deep.
Okay.
So once he hits the bed and we may have a couple of, pillow talk conversations or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can have that and joke and laugh, that's intimacy to me,
Okay.
um, in understanding each other's love language,
Speak on
so
that because I don't think everybody understands that. Do you guys know what each other's love language is?
yeah, here's his prime rib.
That's not a love language, but
No,
okay.
no, I'm just kidding. So, understanding love language, like, having his space, and respecting the time and respecting and being conscious of feelings. Okay,
Yeah.
because you cancers, you guys are a bunch of feelings, You guys get into it and
We
then
get
and if
moody. Yes, we do. We get
you get
moody.
very moody. And if you don't understand that a cancer is cancering,
Cool time.
then you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have trouble.
Back upstairs.
You're gonna have trouble. So I respect. So understanding his love language is giving him that space,
Mm-hmm.
and then not badgering about what are you thinking about, what's going on, where you been. I
Yeah.
don't do that. I don't have that kind of energy. I
Okay.
don't. Just the thought of that makes me sleepy. So just that, and when I know what he likes, I like to cook.
Mm-hmm.
So cooking to me, that's my love language. Cooking
Okay.
and catering to my boys and my husband. That's
So, so generally, we typically when we because I talk about love languages on this show as well. Typically, and I have the book over there. I probably should have brought it out, but typically, you talk to your partner in your love language. You put out what you want back.
yeah,
And it's important to not only know what your love language is and your partner's love language, but also to be able to speak to them in theirs. And I think that's what you were getting at, to be able
yeah,
to
Mhm.
speak to your partner in their love language. Because sometimes you can communicate to your partner and they're not hearing you because you're not communicating to them in their language.
right,
And I think that's where sometimes the communication gets kind of funky at, where you're not understanding one another. You might be saying the same thing, but it's coming out different.
right. Yeah, yeah,
one
that's right.
one of the things that I found early on in my marriage, like it's actually before me and my wife actually had gotten married, like say for example, we would get into heated arguments about stuff. What I found was helpful if I started to listen to understand and not listen to respond. So if I put on my say, you know what, I'm gonna lay here and I'm gonna hear everything she has to say. When I started doing that, my response has been different. It cut down on a lot of the back and forth and the unnecessary being mad and chest all tight. And you know what I'm saying? Like it cut that part down because I listened to understand where she was coming. Even whether I agree with it or not, I listened to understand. And I think that's
Yeah.
always one of the messages I always try to promote on my show. Try to listen more to understand and not trying to get your point across.
Yeah. I would say this. If I had to sum it all up for me personally, um, I think one of the things that you can do in a marriage is always be willing to show, even 16 years in, that you're willing to evolve. And I think that's really important because I'm still learning. Yeah, just we got 16 years, but
You
I
still
feel
learning
like,
that woman next to you.
yeah, and
Yeah.
still learning about being together because life changes as you get older, things change.
Absolutely.
Circumstances change, the world is changing, and you have to evolve
Absolutely.
along with that. And even the
Absolutely.
the communication, and if you feel like you've learned everything in your marriage, you're setting yourself up for some problems.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you have to always be willing to evolve. And what I've tried to do, and it's hard for me as a Cancer, I tend to be kind of quiet and withdrawn at times.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to be better at responding to her, to let her know, yes, I heard you, I'm listening, and let my actions show that, she might say something and think I didn't hear it, but then I come back with something, and that lets her know that I did hear it. But
Mm-hmm.
even just the things that I say to her, like for
Right.
instance, right now, my mother is suffering from dementia, and it's really hard on me.
I'm sorry to
And
hear
I
that,
don't
brother.
I don't always talk about it
Mm-hmm.
because it's difficult for me to talk about. But I'm really trying to, like, even if it's just a little bit, just give her a little bit about what's on my mind, so she knows that if I'm suffering or quiet, it's not because of something she did or didn't do. It's because I'm just trying to process something that's going on.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's definitely I mean those things are definitely important, for sure. You definitely gotta uh to improve communication, to be able to be and to be able to be your authentic self with your partner. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like to be able to say what it is you need to communicate and them not automatically taking offense because you verbally saying what it is you need or what it is you don't need, from your
she's
from your
taught me to
stuff.
be more vulnerable than I had been comfortable with, in my life before getting with her.
But
um
you know what, Lenny? But I think a lot of women want that from their men. The problem
yeah,
I think with black men, because things have been so that we've had this stigma around how black men are supposed to act. It's so
exactly.
hard for us to do that because the moment we do it, and then we end up getting what's the word I'm looking for? Say a woman takes that and they abuse it or throw it back up in our face. We like, you know what? That's why I
Yeah,
don't do it. I'm not doing it no
exactly,
more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly,
so it's
exactly.
hard for us. And then we just need the right partner to be able to understand that as black men, that is hard for us, but give me the space to be able to do that. And don't
Yeah,
rush it. You know what I'm saying? You got to give us
yeah,
the space to be able to do that because so many times as black men, when we have been vulnerable, and we probably been vulnerable to the wrong woman, but we've
yep,
been vulnerable, and then all of a sudden it gets thrown back up in our face, and then we like, you
yeah,
know what? That's why we don't do it. Right there.
yeah. So for me, the biggest love language that she speaks to me is allowing me to open up and be vulnerable in my time.
Okay.
She's always been there to allow me to do that, and she just slowly has, coaxed me into doing it. And that's what I mean about evolving. You have to
Mm-hmm.
allow that evolution to take place, and free yourself to open up and be like that.
Absolutely, absolutely, for sure. I definitely agree that. This is another fun question I like to ask couples. Are you good times or are you the Huxtables or
Oh my God. I would say that it's a combination of both, for
Yeah,
real,
yeah.
okay,
all day. Yes, sir.
okay. The reason I say that is because
That's funny.
I didn't have no don't get me wrong, we wasn't, they were poor on the I mean not the Jeffersons, but good times. But I didn't have that. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, and I told my wife this. What I saw on what was the Cosby Show? What I saw on the Cosby Show wasn't real to me. I didn't see that. That wasn't my reality. But I could
Yeah.
relate to good times. Do you get
Okay.
where I'm coming from?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I could relate to good times. We wasn't poor like that, but I could relate more to good times than I could because I was like, but my wife said she saw stuff like that. I just thought it was interesting what she saw black men and black women coexisting like that, having, being in the same home, raising their kids, having those issues. I didn't see that. So that wasn't my reality. That's why I go back to the comment I made earlier. Marriage, like that wasn't a goal of mine. now that I'm the age that I am now, I don't understand how, because when I try to talk to my nephews, I was like, you're gonna have to make up in your mind one day, you're gonna have to become a man and make a decision. You can't continue to live your life like this. I'm telling you, at some point, it's gonna come
Right.
back and smack you in the face.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's gonna come back and smack you in the face. So y'all say y'all a combination of both Good Times and the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jane.
I mean, you asked the question earlier about, if we modeled our marriage after a particular template.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, my parents have been married for, man, I've lost track. But by my father, running a business, like he was gone all the time.
Uh-huh.
And that's not his fault. He was building a business.
Right.
But when we got married and started our family, I knew for me personally that I wanted to be
Present.
in my boy's life, like super present, like
Okay.
for everything. And it wasn't because he neglected me or anything like that. It was just because there were just things he wasn't there for.
Mm-hmm.
And that I knew was not what I wanted to do. So there were things that I knew that I definitely wanted and didn't want in my marriage and how I approach my fatherhood.
And you know what though, Lenny, and this is, for you and I hope you both can agree with me. I think LaDonna alluded to this earlier. What you learned, what your father, it wasn't his intention. I'm sure he loved you and everything, but that gave you what, like you said, what you wanted and what you didn't want. So you
Right.
and your father, though he provided for his kids and was there for your mom, you know what I'm saying? But that lesson taught you what to do in order to be a much better man, a much better father, a much better husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you,
Oh, no
that
question.
will happen for a reason.
No question. So I will let you know, because I'm not near an outlet. My battery is beginning to run a
Oh,
little
okay,
bit
yeah,
low.
yeah. We don't. Okay, I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna get you guys out of here. I do apologize. I just got so comfortable with talking. Y'all see, I done slid back in my chair and everything. One last question before I let you go. Has your definition of marriage changed since being married? How and why?
You can go first.
You know what's so crazy? I never thought about marriage to have a definition.
Yeah.
If that
Okay.
makes and I and this is for real.
Uh huh.
I never thought about it to have a definition.
Okay.
I'm like, listen, again, I said it earlier. There's no textbook for real textbook way because everybody is different.
Yes.
Everyone is not married to the same type of person.
Right.
So I think the way our marriage was just like taking it day by day and
Yeah.
embracing whatever it is that comes,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
life changes and we're evolving. So you got to be willing to change with the seasons.
Absolutely. Have you guys learned any? I mean, since we've been talking, was there anything that you learned about one another that you didn't already know?
Mm. I didn't know she was showing that label to everybody that I made for the dryer. I just learned that, Antonio.
All right.
I
All
was
right.
like, yeah, I was like this, get this, get this.
I didn't know she was doing that.
You ain't know she
So
was
yeah,
doing
I
that.
learned something. Yeah, I learned something, brother.
You
I
learned
learned
something
something.
today? Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, everybody. And again, I want to thank Mrs. Lenny and LaDonna Barnes for coming on to the show and sharing your one, allowing us into your marriage and being so transparent and so authentic. And I think that's what the good thing about this is, that you guys are so comfortable, and your authenticity show right through. I really appreciate you guys allowing us in your marriage, because I know that's a sacred space. I know Lenny sent me a text message like, what is the topic? I don't know. We might talk about anything. But and that's the
No,
beauty.
I have to be honest with you, Al, on that one. I said, "What is the topic, Lenny?" He
Oh.
said, "I don't know." I said, we don't know the topic, so I'm just gonna have to think about what I'm gonna say. I don't know if I'm gonna answer. How about that?
Well, I'm glad it was nothing that was a hot button topic for y'all. That you wasn't too, nothing was too touchy. But I really appreciate you guys coming on here. So we're gonna get ready to definitely close it out. I appreciate your time, Lenny. You want to pray us out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so go ahead,
Uh,
brother.
all right, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to fellowship with Brother Antonio Seahorn, and we thank you for the opportunity to share our experiences. And we hope that our words have served as a guiding point for any of those who are currently in a marriage and maybe having challenges, those who have not taken that step but are considering it. We thank you for your grace, and we honor your word in every opportunity that we can. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, brother. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Barnes, y'all have a great one. Thank you again for your time. I appreciate y'all allowing us in your home, into your marriage. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Yep.
you.
Thank you. All right. Bye bye. All right, folks. That was Lenny and LaDonna Barnes. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Um, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Go ahead and leave any comments below if you had anything that you wanted to know more. If you want to see the Barnes back onto the show, it was something that we touched on that we probably could have got a lot deeper into, let me know. With that, I'm going to leave you in peace.